It's good to be here. My name is Michael Landers, as mentioned, and today we're going to take a look at growing your global IQ. You are guaranteed to laugh in the next 45 minutes, all right? And I'm not talking like a little chuckle, right, or a ha-ha, like you're going to get like a guffaw, a big laugh, maybe even a tear, okay, because it's so funny. If you don't get your laugh, please see me after the program, okay? We can talk outside about it. Seriously. We are going to take a look at your global IQ today. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is global IQ? Anybody know? It's okay, you're all hired. No worries. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We know what IQ is, yes? Okay. We know what EQ is, your emotional quotient, right? How well you understand your own emotions, the emotions of others. How about CQ? C stands for the Sesame Street fans, you're like, cookie? Culture, cultural quotient, how well you know other cultures and countries. And then what's trending now is DQ. Anybody know what DQ is? For some of you, it might be like Dairy Queen. How well I know the Dairy Queen menu? Now, what do you think, DQ? We are in the fourth industrial revolution, and we are living in a what type of economy? Digital. So DQ is your digital quotient. Good. How well you know all of this data coming at you. And today we're going to take a look at this idea of global IQ. Right? And global IQ has two components. It's kind of interesting. We look at one, which is our crystallized intelligence. Okay? And your crystallized intelligence is your ability to do everything that you do today. Okay? Negotiate, build relationships, influence, sell, whatever it is, your ability to do all of that today with all of the data that you've acquired to this moment. So all the information that you've acquired to your life is your crystallized intelligence. And we love crystallized intelligence because it's about certainty. This is the way, right? You don't have to question it. It's about absolutes. E equals MC squared always, okay? It's also about history, science, math, religion. The world is flat. No, it's round. Now it's flat, okay? Everything that's certain and that we know doesn't cause us a lot of stress. It's about laws. Okay? And it's really good to know what's crystallized in you, right? And where you're operating from. The theme of this conference is Sin Fronteras, right? Without borders, right? And we're going to look at crystallized intelligence. While it's good for you, it can create a lot of unseen, unknown borders in your mind, within you and others. So we'll take a look at what's programmed and what's crystallized in you today. On the other side, we have this thing called fluid intelligence. And that's your ability to do all those things that we talked about, everything that you do, right? Influence, sell, negotiate, build relationships, build trust, connect with people, connect with employers, connect with candidates, with new or novel approaches, right? And fluid intelligence is about ambiguity, right? And for some of us, we're like, don't know if I like too much ambiguity, right? It's about multiple answers, right? Well, here's all the different answers that it could be versus just this one. It's also about what was red is now blue. So real quick, Pluto, a planet? No, yes. Yesterday, no. Today, yes. Tomorrow, maybe, right? How about eggs? Good for you, bad for you? Good? Anybody say good? Anybody say bad? Anybody still don't know where they are? All right, cool. So what was red is now blue. It's always changing. Right? Especially in our fourth industrial revolution. So much data, so much information is coming at us, and new information at that it's putting into question pretty much everything, the way we think of things, all right? How about no answer at all? You like when that happens? You go to the doctor, what's wrong with me? Don't know. No, we don't like that. But yet fluid intelligence is about that. So what's global IQ? When we look at global IQ, it's about you recognizing and understanding your crystallized intelligence, what's programmed in you, to in turn grow and build your fluid intelligence. That's what global IQ is. So that's what we're going to do today in the next 40 minutes or so. We'll take a look at what's crystallized, what's programmed in you, and where and how can you look at ways to be more fluid in your intelligence. From everything from a job interview, to hiring somebody, to building relationships. Whatever it might be, okay? Cool. So real quick, so you know who's talking to you, because some of you in your crystallized intelligence might be thinking, what is this white American guy talking to me at Sin Fronteras? Like, what the hell? Anybody kind of thinking that? Oh, you guys are being really nice. Good. So some people are honest back there. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, here we go. Now I'm going to challenge your crystallized intelligence. I'm originally from Boston. Okay. Woo! Anybody from Boston? All right. Here we go. Anybody not from Boston? All right. Good. At least they're not going boo, right? Okay. Cool. When I was 3 years old, we moved to Bogotá, Colombia. Colombianos aquí? Hey. All right. De 3 a 15, from 3 to 15, I lived in Bogotá. Okay, coming back to Boston every summer. Now you see, your fluid intelligence is starting to tweak a little bit. Ah, ya eres Latino, pero bueno. No hay problema, entonces. Oh, he's Latino, so that's cool. It's all right now. Now I'm going to listen to him. Before, un poco no, pero ahora sí. You see that? You see that bias? Everybody. Teasing. After Colombia, we moved to Brazil. Brasileiro aqui? Hey, falou, legal. Tudo bem? Tudo jóia? Tudo ótimo. Brazilians have like 10 words to say they're good. Tudo ótimo, tudo jóia, tudo beleza. It's amazing, it's beautiful. I love that, it's good, they're super positive, okay? Then, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, we moved again. Dominicano aquí? Oi! Coge la agua, mira la jeva, nos fuimos ya. Right? When I moved from Colombia to Dominican Republic, I went into a store for the first time. I'm like, sí, por favor, me da dos gaseosas. Right, my Colombian accent. Can I get 2 soft drinks? The Dominican guy's like, oye, man, aquí, ¿qué tú dices aquí? He's like, what the hell? I had to change my Spanish. Coja la guagua. ¿Qué un guagua? Mira, está ahí. Oye, ¿qué tú quieres? Vivo, no? All right. So 3 high schools, 4 years, 3 different countries. Right now in your crystallized intelligence, you're like, I wonder what his dad did. Anybody wondering what my dad did? And I'll say to you, how come it wasn't my mom? Okay, so it was my dad. Pero mi mamá trabajó también. My mom worked as well. My father ran international schools. Kindergarten through 12th grade. Okay, American international schools, or he worked for the CIA. I really don't know. I'm going to say that the school is probably, yeah? Okay. If you ever saw Narcos, anybody saw Narcos? Yeah, right? I grew up in Colombia during that time. Narcos is not true. It didn't happen, none of that. No, I'm kidding, it happened just like that. Yeah. You're questioning, though, it's good. Okay, so after the undergrad, I went to University of Miami. Okay, sorry, UCF, all right, Miami, what's up? 2 weeks after graduation, I moved to Japan. I lived in Japan for a couple of years, working for traditional Japanese companies, preparing Japanese doctors for life overseas. Came back to the US, I got a master's degree in intercultural relations. Yes, you can get a master's in intercultural relations, okay, it's true. Worked in New York City for many years, international HR, and I've been in California. I'm based in San Francisco, probably for the last, yeah, San Francisco, California, right? Fires, woohoo, earthquakes, yes, okay, it's pretty bad. But I've been there for the last 15 years, and my company, Culture Crossing, we work with a lot of startups. We work with established companies, your Apples, your Googles of the world, your SAPs, and we work on culture, how to cultivate cultures of high performance, how to cultivate cultures with a global mindset, cultures of functions, the culture of sales in an organization, the culture of customer service. And for the last many years, I've been going around the world and the country doing workshops with people. So I'm going to share with you today a little bit about what I've learned and also learn from you. And just for your information, I've done this workshop that we're going to do, a version of this, to over 50,000 people around the world in the last 10 years. So we have good data, right? So it should be fun. As I said, you'll get some laughter out of it, but also learn and then also teach. I look at everybody teacher, everybody student. So if you disagree with what I'm saying, you know, some thoughts, there's about 16 doors, so please. No, I was just testing if you're listening. If you disagree, please. I'm not telling you I have the answer. I'm not even telling you I have an answer. What I'm sharing with you is what I have heard from people and what I have observed. But please feel free to debate, discuss. You guys are at tables on purpose, small rounds. If you're sitting by yourself, feel free to join another table so you can discuss as we are going to do some interactive questions. Okay? Cool. So every time you interact with anybody, doesn't matter where they're from, could be from your same hometown, you have what I call a culture crossing. And you can substitute culture for candidate, customer, client, company, whatever it is, right? Basically, you have 2 cultures intersecting, crossing, right? And 2 things can happen at every time you have one of those, all right? One, you can have culture connections. And we love culture connections. We say things like, I like working with him, I like working with them, her, and people say, why? And you say, they get it. Have you ever said that about anybody? They get it. All right? Yeah, you're like, they get it. That company, they get it. Right? What do they get? You guys are like, it. All right? And why do we like it? And what happens when they get it? What happens at work when you get it? You get included. Guess what else happens? You get promoted. It's true, right? And you get it. And I don't have to explain everything when you get it, right? I don't have to tell you my expectations, my preferences, how I like to be treated. You just get it. And we can be efficient. We can be quick. It can be fun, right? And that's great. That's why we love it. So think about it. What is it for you? People say things like, a sense of humor, empathy, trust, okay, honesty. And you're like, oh, cool. Honesty is important to you? You're like, yeah. Oh, me too. Are we good? Are we going to have any problems? Yeah, you know why? Because how I define honesty, you might not. And how I define respect, you might not. We might have different views of that. But it's important to know what it is for you, because when somebody gets it for you, automatically they do, right? And things go well. And it's important to know what it is for other people, especially if you're going to work with them, right? So they're good things to discover. But too often, we don't look at that. And you don't get it with everybody, right? On the flip side of getting it, we call culture crashing. Customer crashing, colleague crashing, candidate crashing. And this is what happens when you don't get it. Now, when you don't get it, do you know you don't get it? No, you're like, I get it. I don't know about those people. They definitely don't get it, but I get it, right? Usually we don't know that we don't get it, or we don't see that we don't get it, right? But what happens when you don't get it at work, right? You don't get the job. You don't get promoted. You might not get included as much, right? You might get unknowingly excluded. So what we're going to look at today is how can you maximize connections in your life and at work, and how can you minimize crashes, right? Now, over the years, we worked with a lot of people who have come to the United States, and we have these things that we call USA culture crashes, things that people from around the world, you as well, might feel frustrated, angry, kind of curious, annoyed by U.S. culture or U.S. Americans, okay? What do you think some of the things are that people say? Time. We have too much of it? Always on time. So punctuality. What else? What's that? All right, good. Resources. Space. What else? Jargon. Individual, personal space. Go. All these things, right? We see too much sugar in the food, right? Why do we have to tip? These are the things we hear from so many people, right? Why is there tipping involved? Okay. One thing that's been happening recently, I've heard many, many times. I'm not making this up, so you'll tell me if you think it's true. There's too much water in our toilets. Think about it for a second. Yeah. Okay. And then also, why is there a space in the toilet stall between where the door closes and the wall is there? Like, what's up with that? People are like, hello. Yeah, no. That and the water. I don't know what that comes up a lot. Okay. But culture crashes you might have as well when you interact with other people or where you go to other countries. And we'll take a look at what they are. In addition to all these physical things that we get frustrated with, language is another, right? And so over the years, people become very frustrated with how U.S. Americans or their experience with them and how they talk, right? And especially with language. And I found this online a couple of years ago. You tell me if this is true. It's a chart that says when Americans say, U.S. Americans say, and what they mean. Yeah? I'm not saying all U.S. Americans, but this is kind of what people say very often. Everything is awesome. It's like the Lego movie. Everything is awesome. How was your weekend? Amazing. All right? In my experience with Latin Americans over the years, growing up in Latin America, obviously, and working with lots of them, one of the biggest frustrations they have is when U.S. Americans go, hey, how are you? Right? My German colleagues find this frustrating as well. And my German colleague might be like, well, I had a difficult weekend. My stomach was a little upset. Okay, and the U.S. American's like, good luck with that. Okay? Like, what? You know, because in Latin America, like especially in Colombia, it's like, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo le va? Hey, how are you? What's going on? No, bueno, aquí, tú sabes. No, y tu mamá, tu papá, no, todo bien. ¿Y vos, qué tal? How's your family? Talk, talk, talk. And then it takes us like 4 or 5 times to say goodbye, but finally we do say goodbye. Like the despedida, the goodbye takes like 8 times, sometimes on the telephone. Bueno, chao, ahora sí, bueno, ahora sí, chao. No, pero cuéntame. Bueno, ahora sí. Okay? No, right? It happens. So that's a big one that frustrates people. The other one for the U.S. Americans is like, hey, how was your weekend? You know? And they're like, oh, well, it wasn't bad. We did all things. Okay, good luck with that too. Right? So from the other perspective, they're like, Americans are rude. They ask me how I am. They don't listen. And the U.S. Americans are like, dude, you just talk too much. I just said hello. Right? Because hi, how are you in U.S. speak for most of us, not everybody, but it's mostly just like, hey, what's up, dude? How's it going? So it's like, hey, how are you? Good. Good weekend, right? Now if I ask you, so what did you do this weekend? Now I'm telling you, guess what? I'm interested. The other one that's hard is, let's get coffee sometime, right? I'll do that with my European colleagues. Hey, let's get coffee sometime. They'll take their phone out. They'll be like, okay, when? Right? And then I'm like, you know what? Let's stay in touch. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I don't do that. But you're right, and it's just because they don't know. So I find that the majority of our culture crashes in life, even with relationships, new relationships at work, even at home, are because I don't know your chart. And guess what? This is when U.S. Americans say, but each of you, and me included, has your own chart. And if I know your chart, guess what? Connections. And if I don't know your chart, chance for crashes, right? So as you get to know people, you'll see the words that they use, understand. If you work with different companies and you're interested in going to different cultures within companies, you'll learn the language, right? There's some things that people tell me, I'm like, what are some words that happen in your company? And people are like, oh, when we say interesting, that means not interesting. Okay, or we say, you know what, let's take that offline. That means, ooh, that's not gonna happen. Okay, in Silicon Valley, there's this thing that people go, yeah, no. Okay, and then there's the opposite one, which is like, no, yeah. Right, and if you don't know it, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Okay, so know your chart. They're fun. Okay, so in addition to language, we see very often culture crashes happen related to marketing. So years ago, if you remember this, anybody probably not remember this one, but I'm old, so Come Alive with the Pepsi Generation was a campaign for Pepsi-Cola years ago. And when they went to Taiwan, they had a culture crash because they mistranslated Come Alive with the Pepsi Generation into Mandarin, right? And so imagine big billboards over the cities of Taipei and Taichung, okay? And you're in the morning, you're going to work, and you see this billboard, and this is what it says. Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead. No joke, okay? So you can imagine half the people are like, oh, grandma, abuelita. Okay, and the other half are like, oh, hell no, not again. Either way, do you think they sold Pepsi-Cola? Not so much, right? The number one fast food restaurant in China right now is Kentucky Fried Chicken. But that wasn't always the case. Same thing, when they went to China for the first time, they mistranslated the slogan, finger licking good, into Mandarin, mistranslated to eat your fingers off. Okay, I was like, don't order the chicken nuggets, whatever you do. Okay? And this is all about intention, right? Think about, in a given day, how many intentions do you have? Things that you want or expect to happen. 5, 10, 50, 100, maybe thousands, right? Things that you want to have happen, consciously, subconsciously, right? And I have all these intentions, right, that I know about. Now, when my intentions have the impact, right, how I want other people to respond to me and my intentions, we have alignment or connections. And when my intention does not have the impact that I want, we have crashes. So I'll give you an example. If my intention is to be funny right now, what impact would I look for? Yeah, laughter, smiles, right? Great. So I'm intending to be funny, I'm funny, haha, you laugh, boom, connection. But what happens if I'm intending to be funny and you don't laugh? Right? I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm funny. And you're not laughing, so it must be you, right? In reality, it's me, right? So think about in your life right now, future relationships, existing relationships. If you're not connecting with somebody that you want to be connecting with or you're trying to connect with, there's a good chance that they might not know or understand your intention, or they might have misinterpreted your intention. So in new relationships specifically, regardless of culture, it's always good in my experience to state your intentions before a meeting. Right? Hey, my intention right now is to get this information. My intention right now is to learn about this. Because if I don't state my intention, you will interpret it within your own crystallized intelligence, within your own frame, within your own culture. And that's where we have a lot of crashes. Right? And then guess what? I think I'm funny. You don't laugh. So I put it on you, right? Have you ever heard the phrase, that person pushes my buttons? Okay. Whose buttons are they? They're yours, they're mine. But we get angry at other people for pushing them. I'm like, own your buttons. Seriously, mine too, right? All right, so we'll take a look at this. Now, culture crashes happen, one, because I don't know your preferences, or they weren't communicated. Don't know how you like to be treated, so I'm just treating you the way I want to be treated, which is not necessarily the best way for you. You don't know my intentions, or they are misinterpreted. I thought you were being aggressive. Oh, that wasn't my intention. Oh, but that's what I thought. Okay? And then also, our mental models are not matched. And we'll take a look at that in a second about what this idea of mental model is and how it can impact your success pretty much in all aspects of your life. All right? The other thing I'd like to look at when we look at culture crashes is data and empathy. Right? There's a link between data, information, and empathy for people, I see. And take a look at it like, here's how I see the world. Right? Here are my settings, if you will, from an operating system. And there are yours. And if I know both of them, there's a greater chance we'll understand each other. How many people flew on an airplane to get here? All right, good. Me too. So this is familiar to you, right? Tell me if this ever happens to you, because I travel a lot, and this is what I've seen recently. When you land. Okay, everybody, welcome. If this is your final destination, please stay seated, because we have a lot of people who have tight connections. Thank you very much. How many people stand up? Everybody in the plane, okay? If you haven't traveled, everybody in the plane literally stands up. And I'm like, oh my God, do we live in a world where people have no empathy at all? I don't want to believe that, because I'm one of those people. And sometimes I'll stay seated and then everyone else stands up, so what do? Stand up, right? So I don't want to believe that we are planes filled with people with no empathy. I really don't, because I'm one of those people, and I think we do have empathy and compassion. I think everybody has a huge ability to have as much empathy and compassion as you could imagine. It's just we have to recognize the situation that we're in. So imagine this happen. Hey, everybody, welcome. This is your final destination. Please stay seated. Because we have a passenger in row 32, seat B, who has a tight connection, and she wants to say goodbye to her father before he dies. How many people stand up? Right? Anyone who stands up, people will be like, the devil. There it is, mira. There it is, míralo. I see the horns. Okay? Start throwing stuff at that person. Right? What's changed? Yeah. What do we get? Yeah. So empathy and compassion was created because I got data. I got information. So think about it. Have you ever seen somebody, worked with somebody, associated with somebody, and you had a certain impression of them over the years, and then you found out something about them that you didn't know, and you might have seen them in a very different light? Okay? Have you ever defended anybody in your life? People are talking bad about that person, and you're like, no, you just don't know him. You don't know them. Yeah? What don't they know about me or that person? Certain data, my style, right? So there's this link between data and empathy that I see. And we can take a look at how we can grow that. And that basically links to this fluid intelligence. Okay? Now, this might happen to you sometimes, because it happens to our devices. They lose their ability to function and they crash, right? But it happens to us as well. I get that wheel sometimes when I'm working with people, right? I'm like, they don't get it, right? We have to look at our own cultural programming. When your devices crash, engineers go in and update your code, and then you get an update or a patch, right? We're no different. We're filled with code as well. Our code is not digital, analog, or quantum, okay? Our code is human and cultural. And when do you think you become programmed? At birth? Yeah? Last 3 months of pregnancy. The baby can hear language. But then you're born, you're told what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, right? And you continue to get reinforced. You get a job, you go to work, you go to college, what it is. You see all the ways that people operate, and then you learn how to do it that way. But then you, like me, every once in a while will encounter other human cultural code we don't recognize, and we get that wheel. We crash, right? So our question is, how do we get updates on our cultural code, right? Well, that's what we'll do today, all right? We'll take a look at it. We're already taking a look at what our code is, then see where we could update ourselves if we want, okay? So in addition to that, how do you avoid culture crashing? Data's good. Listening's good, right? Questioning's good. Recognizing your own cultural quotients, right? Your own intelligences are good. In addition to that, we also take a look at awareness. And in life, there's 4 stages of awareness that I see, right? First stage is unconscious incompetence. What does that mean? You don't know that you don't know, right? And the question is, if you don't know that you don't know, how can you become aware of the fact that you don't know that you don't know if you don't know that you don't know that you don't know? Si no sabes que no sabes, how do you become aware of the fact that you don't know? Anybody? You're like, I don't know. Right? What has to happen? Someone has to what? Someone has to tell you, or you have to fail multiple times. Okay? And I'm going to give you an example. Here, I'm going to walk over here. Watch out. He's getting off the stage. Imagine in my whole life, okay, all 25 years of my life, what happened to the compassion people? Okay, all 30 years? Now you can see me, you're like, oh, hell no, not 30, man. I see those bags, forget it. Okay, all 40 years of my life, okay? All 40 years of my life, how many doors have I opened in the 40 years of my life? Imagine, how many doors? Thousands, right? How many doors have you opened in your lives? You're 20, you're 30, you're 40, however old you guys are. Thousands and thousands. So every single door I've ever opened in my whole life has opened in. Every single door I've ever opened in my whole life has opened in. How long will I be here? How long? How long? Forever, right? And I'm going to be like, stupid doors. Yo no sé de este Rosen Center, pero las puertas aquí están. Okay? I don't know what's going on with the Rosen Center, but the doors here are terrible, right? And I'm going to start talking bad about the doors at the Rosen Center. Okay? They don't know what they're doing. They don't know that they don't know. Okay? I was going to be there forever until one of you, poof, opened the door for me. You know, and you walk by and you were like, idiot. No, you'd be nicer than that, right? But that's stage 1. You don't know that you don't know until someone shows you or you fail so many times, right? And that's okay. In Silicon Valley, we see this whole thing about failing fast and failing forward. Learn what you don't know quickly so you can adjust. After stage 1, okay, we come into stage 2, and now you're consciously incompetent. Mira que you're still incompetent, okay? But now you know that you don't know. And this is a really interesting stage in life. A lot of people get stuck here. Okay, if you've heard of the term fixed mindset and growth mindset, stage 2 is a fixed mindset. Imagine, I learned that there are doors that open out. Okay, but I'm like, you know what? No. I'm only going to go to hotels and offices and houses that the doors open in. I'm only going to hang out with people who go with places doors that open in. I'm going to start writing blogs about doors that open in. Okay? And I'm gonna ban everything in the places that the doors open out, right? And I'm gonna stay there. I know that I don't know, but I'm fixed, right? And that's it, right? And you can see how other things can happen around that mindset too, right? No, this is the only way, right? And everyone else who doesn't follow it, I don't think so. Stage 3, conscious competence. You try and understand what you don't know, and this is the growth mindset. Now, if I choose to go to stage 3, guess what? I'm going to start hanging out at places and find out that doors open out. I'm going to look at the Tesla where the doors open butterfly. Okay? Some doors open to the side. I'm going to learn and look, doors open up, they open down. Wow. All right? I'm going to understand like the doors of perception. Oh my good, look at the doors of your mind. Right? All these different ways of looking at doors. And I'm going to continue to learn and explore and find out different ways that people see doors. Right? And realize that there might be multiple answers and multiple doors in life. Right? And then I get to stage 4, okay? Stage 4, unconscious competence, you know. Right? And you do what you do, and you do it well, and you don't think too much about it. So I think everybody's unconsciously competent in their own culture, in their own world. If you have a home airport that you travel a lot, you walk around that airport, unconscious competence, right? You know where the good Starbucks is, you know where the Uber line is, you know the toilets that don't have that much water in them. Okay? But if you land in a new airport and you've never been there before, how do you walk around? Right? And you walk by those people, you're like, ese tipo no sabe que no sabe. That person doesn't know that they don't know. Right? Where else are you unconsciously competent? You do an activity, you do it well, you don't think too much about it. Anybody? Work. Good. Driving. How many people think they're unconsciously competent drivers? Good. Okay, for those people who don't raise your hand, no offense, but I'm not going to get in the car with you. Okay? There's one test to tell if you're unconsciously competent. You want to take it real quick. Have you ever been driving before, right? You're doing your thing, right? And then all of a sudden 5 or 10 minutes pass, and you find yourself at home. And you're like, how the hell did I get here? I mean, yo estaba en la autopista, I was on the highway, I took like 3 exits, 3 lights, and boom, there I am, right? If that's ever happened to you, could imagine that happened to you the first year of driving? No way, right? Unconscious competence. Now, unconscious competence isn't a bad thing, you know, right? At work, we try to become that way. But guess what? I know what to do in my job, and I do it well, and then I'm trying to do it with you, and guess what? You don't get it. And what happens really is that puts us back to stage 1. And many of us don't like to go back to stage 1 when we think we're at stage 4. But life is a series of going back to stage 1 again and again. First year of high school, stage 1. Senior year, 4th year, stage 4. Right? First year of college, if you went, yeah, stage 1. Last year, you're like, I got this. First couple weeks of a job, after you've been in a job for a while. Right? And then a new task and new people puts you back every time. So embrace those moments, recognize them, see what's going on, and question yourself, hey, what do I not know about this? What do I not know that I don't know? You know, and share with people if you see them in that stage. Hey, you might realize actually that door actually opens out. Oh, cool. All right? And then you can make that decision. You can't make somebody go to the growth mindset. They have to want to, right? You have to want to. But you can help them. You can look at them. You can see them. Support them as needed. Okay? Cool. All right. So let's take a look. 3 questions, 10 years, 50,000 people. We're going to test your global IQ right now at your tables, okay? Interactive. Don't worry. You don't get any penalties for getting an answer wrong or anything like that. They don't go in your Prospanica performance reviews this year, okay? So it's all good. You can search online if you want, but you're not going to find the answer. So use this device. I'm going to give you a minute or 2 per question, and then I'll debrief and share what the answers that we've got from around the world, okay? So our first question, what is a gesture, un gesto, that means the same thing in all countries or cultures? In a minute, go ahead, do it around your table. Okay, good. Let's see. So I'm going to look out and just show me your gesture. It's okay if you're going to give me the middle finger. I won't take it personally. Go ahead. Show me your gesture. Let's see. Okay, got hands up. Number 1, thumbs up. What else over here? Waving. People are waving to me. What else? Some people are double wave. Some people are smiling to me. Anything else? Clapping. Good. Thank you very much. Okay, good. I think you're happy. Okay, shoulders, shrug shoulders. Good. Anybody else? Nodding. Good. All right, excellent. You're all wrong. Babe, it's good. Don't worry. You don't know that you don't know until you don't know. So now you know. Okay? In this class, you want to be wrong. So I'll go over all the gestures. Anyone else have one that we didn't hear, that I didn't hear? Crying? Like this crying or real crying? Real crying's an emotion, so it doesn't count, but this would be a gesture. No, that's still wrong. But that's okay. Okay? Writing a check. Wrong, but good. All right? Okay. I will take them all. So I'm going to give you an idea. 50,000 people all around the world, there's been 2 top answers. Okay? Meaning all around the world, people come up with these answers. They're both wrong, but they're the 2 top answers. You came up with them as well. Number 1 is the? Number 2 is? Nodding. Okay, both wrong, but those are the 2 top answers. Why do you think those are the 2 top answers? Nonverbal. Commonly used, yeah. So think about how many times you had somebody smile at you in your life, right? Hopefully when you were born, someone was like, "Aw, baby." Okay? And they were not like, "Oh, not another one." Right? Hopefully you got the, "Aw, baby." Okay? And then after baby, you got a lot of this. Uh-huh, no, 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 yeah, yeah, no, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. So how many times did that happen? Smile on this, I can't count. The more you see something, the more you do something, the deeper the programming, the more crystallized the intelligence. So I think that might be the answer. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm in alignment with you guys on that. Now, right now, for some of you consciously, there's a frontera. There's a border or an obstacle. And for some of you, subconsciously, there's an obstacle right now. And the obstacle is you might not believe what I'm sharing with you, that you're programmed. All right? But I'll prove it to you 1,000% right now. Okay? I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, one question followed by another. And I want you to answer me non-verbally, which means no words. Okay? So I want you to say yes or no to the question. They're yes or no questions. I want you to answer me yes or no, but not the US style or the Dominican style, okay, or the Colombian style. I want you to answer me in the Bulgarian and most of Albanian style. Bulgaria and Albania, 2 countries in southeastern Europe. And in Bulgaria and Albania, this is no, and this is yes. I'm not kidding. Do it with me. This is no, and this is yes. This hurts your brain for some of you right now. You're like, ow. Okay, so 2 more questions. You're going to answer me non-verbally Bulgarian style, right? Okay, one more time. Seen words. This is. Good. Do you want to be the next $1 billion winner of the Powerball? Would you pay $100 US for a hamburger? Okay, good. Now, most of you guys are doing this. All right? And if for the rest of the day I said this is no and this is yes, you would fail. Imagine if you got a job and you open the Prospanica chapter in Bulgaria or Sofia, you know, people be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you like Bulgaria?" You'd be like, "Hey, we're going to go out for drinks and food. Do you want to go out after dinner? Hey, can you do this extra work?" You'd have to adapt pretty quickly. We work with engineers who come from Bulgaria to the Googles and Apples of the world, and they have to adjust that real quick, right? Or they'd have a lot of crashes. But that shows how programmed you are, right? Okay? So that's why this one doesn't work. Now, the rest of the gestures we see, right? Okay sign is not okay. In Brazil especially, not okay. This is the Mutra seal for Buddhism and Hinduism. This is the power of 3 for Macedonian independence. So lots of this is the circle game for middle schoolers and high schools. Ah, made you look. Okay, all right. So all gestures are different. People wave. The Queen of England waves like this. High school girls in Korea and Japan and China wave like this. Okay, that's like jazz hands for us. Hello. Okay. This one's funny. American men like this one when they're talking, especially. So I just want to say we have a good budget here. No problems at all. Sales is going to be great this year. The Brazilians are like, "Oh my God, we're screwed." Right? Yeah, okay. This is a 5, right, for many of you, but in Greece, this is the mutsa, and this is the double mutsa, and it means I throw poop in your face. Watch out, right? You're like, $5 foot long? No. No, I don't want that one, okay? Growing up in Colombia, this was always one we did, right? Pero tengo el test, cuidado. I came back to the States, people were like, "What's wrong, dude?" This is how people pack tobacco in the southern part of the U.S. All right? So everyone's got theirs. Everyone's got theirs. Let's look at the smile. Because the smile is actually one that we all do the same way, right? All around the world, everyone tends to smile. But like most things in culture, this is on a spectrum. And you got super smiley people and super smiley countries over here, right? And then you got not so smiley people, not so smiley countries over here. Now, you might be from a not so smiley culture, but you might be a super smiley person, and vice versa. But on average, we see countries go along this line. Where do you think the United States ranks? Yeah, we're told super smiley, right? We're like, "Hey, how's it going? Everything's awesome, amazing. How are you? Don't really care." Okay? Super smiley, right? 80% of the time, maybe 70 or 80, we smile because we're happy or we want to show happiness, right? 10% of the time, we smile because we forgot your name. "Hey, you." "Oh, hi, you," right? By the way, if anyone ever says "hey, you" to you, like at this conference, you're like, "They don't remember my name. It's right here on my badge." Okay, "Hey, you," right? And the other 2% of the time we smile in a situation maybe like at a conference or a dinner or something because we don't connect, but we don't want to like be like, so we're just like, "Hey, good to see you too." Okay? Now, on the other side of the world, the not so smileys, in the middle we have countries in my experience like Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, even India, right? Where 40% of the time people are smiling in public, in my experience, because they're angry or upset, but they don't want to embarrass anybody, so they'll just do this. Okay, right? We do that. By the way, in Colombia, we call that the Colombian yes, when people really mean no, but they're like, no, sí, sí, sí lo hacemos. You're like, that's not gonna happen, right? Mexico, a lot too. Sí, es que no tengo la lana, güey, pero qué padre, lo hacemos. Not gonna happen, right? The other percent of the time, people are smiling because they're happy. Now, here's an interesting thing. How many people are gonna go for an interview tomorrow, hopefully? Is anybody? Nobody? People are like, I'm not here for a career, what the hell? Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, even if you're not, here's an interesting thing. Smiling in certain cultures like Russia need to be connected to a proper emotion, and that means happiness. So in interview manuals in Russia, they say this, and I'm not kidding, I'll send you links if you don't believe me. The person that smiles all the time during the interview, or a lot during the interview, is considered the village idiot. No joke, right? Because it's like if you go in there like, hey, wow, this is great, so happy to be here, yeah, really excited to work here. They're like, why the hell are you so happy? You're smiling, you don't even have the job yet, village idiot. Okay? And they're like, if you get job, okay, smile, but before that, village idiot. Okay? And now in the United States, imagine you're going for an interview. And imagine you have all the qualifications. You want the job, they're interested in you. You answer all the interview questions perfectly, no BS, really authentic, really true. But you don't smile once during the interview. Not personable. You don't smile once. People think you're not friendly, you're crazy, you don't have teeth, whatever it is. Okay? I asked that question to over 15,000 people in the US in the last year, and less than 0.001% would raise their hand saying they'd still hire the person, even if they had all the qualifications, even if they answered the questions correctly, even if they wanted the job. Just the fact that they didn't smile said no, right? So what's the answer to the question? What's a gesture that means the same thing in all countries or cultures? I haven't found one yet. Honestly, I have not. If you find one, let me know. So how can you use that data for your advantage, especially over the next couple days and weeks? People are like, well, Michael, then do I not gesture? I'm like, that'd be weird. Hi, welcome to Prospanica, follow me. Please sit down. Okay, that would be odd. They say, learn all the gestures from around the world. I'm like, good luck with that one. I've tried it, there's too many. Okay, so there's two things. One, gestures without words is what gets us into problems. Can I have two? Good, okay. But if you don't know that, right, problem. So when possible, especially in newer cultures with new people that you don't know, try to gesture with words. The other thing that's even more important for you is each of you, right now, most of you are doing them, have your unconscious gesture. Things that you do when you're sitting down or talking to somebody you're not aware of. And you really need to be, especially when it comes to interviewing and connecting with people. Right? Because if you're one of these people, okay, people that sit like this, we think they sit like this because they're blocked. But in reality, people sit like this for two reasons. One, they're cold. Two, they're comfortable. But if you're in an interview and you're cold and you're sitting like this, the person opposite you will probably think, oh, you're blocked, you don't want the job. They could think like that because of what's crystallized in them. Some people's are this, you're doing this right now. Hey, in the back, what's going on? Hair scratched. So know your unconscious ones, right? Because they could be giving a message that you don't want. So just being aware of that. And also note the gestures that others people might be showing to you. That might not be the actual meaning, right? So those are the kind of things that we look at gesture, because other than that, no other ones mean the same. By the way, this one, right? Hook 'em horns, right? Heavy metal for some people. In Italy and Argentina, your wife is cheating on you. No joke. In Italy, you get fined or arrested. How about this one? In Italy, va fa Napoli. Okay, right? In the Philippines, let's eat. In Dubai, United Arab Emirates, have patience. And in China, number 7. Right? How about this one? The thumb between the index and middle. In Brazil, it's ofiga, boa sorte, good luck. I had one around my neck when I was 17. In Korea and some other cultures, it's FU. It's the same as this. It's this. And in the United States, you know what this is? Got your nose. So if you're with kids and you don't know where the parents are from, don't do the got your nose, right? Because then you might be. All right, cool. So before I get out of here, I just wanted to share with you a couple things. One, all of us have mental models. It's how we see the world. And we have a mental model about what good pizza is, to what good Chinese food is, to what a good hotel is. If you were staying in a 5-star hotel tonight, you'd have a mental model in your mind of what that is. It might be a butler for some of you. It might be a chandelier or gold for others of you. It might be free Wi-Fi or really good free Wi-Fi, whatever it is. You go to that hotel and it doesn't have the thing that you're expecting. Guess what? You go on TripAdvisor and Yelp, boop, boop, 3-star, because it didn't fit your mental picture. When we go from country to country, they don't fit our mental pictures either. Right? Ever since I left Colombia, I was looking for good Bogotá, ajiaco bogotano, right? A good traditional Colombian soup. And I went to Miami restaurants, that was not it. I went to New York restaurants, that was not it. San Francisco, there was ajiaco on the menu. No, eso no es ajiaco. And I was constantly fighting this battle looking for my ajiaco. And of course it's not it because I'm not in Bogotá, right? But we compare things all the time. And guess what? It's not just in places and things. It's also in people. Do you fit the mental model of a successful employee? If you're working within a company, do you fit the mental model of a successful person in your role that your boss might have, that your employer might have? So any research you can do to figure out what other people's mental models are will allow you to have more connections. It'll increase your fluid intelligence. Start to see where they have their mental models and what they are, okay? And our last thing, just for thinking. I got a piece of paper right here. I need someone to touch it so they believe that it's real. Can you just prove to everyone, just touch this, make sure it's a real piece of paper? Yes? Okay, here it is. Everyone, see the paper? I'm going to fold the paper, okay? I'm going to fold it over itself 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You see it now? You see how the thickness has increased? If I folded itself over 19 more times for a total of 25, okay, how thick do you think it would be? Show me in your hands. This is 5 times. If it was going to be 19 more times, show me how thick you think it would be. Go ahead. How thick? Okay, people here? Okay, cool, good. All right, so see that? Now this is where your crystallized intelligence is going to get challenged. It would be as tall as the Empire State Building in New York City. No joke. If I folded that 25 times on itself, as tall as the Empire State Building, 50 times would be 1/3 of the way to the sun. And now more than half of you right now are like, that's a bunch of BS, I don't believe it. Google it, you'll see that I'm true, okay? But why I put this up here is, one, every time and every moment your crystallized intelligence gets challenged, don't shut it down. Just ask yourself, okay, tell me more. What else should I know? It'll just keep you having a more open mindset, all right? The other thing is about exponential growth. If you choose one behavior from today or this conference that you learn, and you try to put it into your life once a day, and then that becomes twice a day, maybe even 3 times a day, you can literally change the patterns in your brain in terms of neural connections of positivity, of empathy, compassion, understanding, fluid intelligence, and you can grow just like that paper would, okay? Cool. I'm going to be hanging out here upstairs for the next couple hours before I have to get on a flight, so if you have any other questions, please let me know. If you want more information about what I talk about, feel free to link us, take a look at us at culturecrossing.net. There's a book there that's all about this as well. If you read books and you like books and you read my book and you like it and you want to go to Amazon and in your mental model you like to put a positive review, please do so. If you read the book and don't like it, don't. No, I'm kidding. You can do that as well. If anybody else had any other questions for me, other than that, I will see you in the next couple hours. Feel free to stop by, talk with me if you'd like. Tell me you hated it, you loved it, whatever it is. I wish you luck in the rest of the conference today. Thanks for having me. By the way, clapping is not universal gesture. In parts of Pakistan, instead of clapping, they throw money. So feel free.